If you want to create the best looking AI videos, you need to generate them in 4K. But if you don't know which AI model to use, you can easily burn through your credits and still get pretty disappointing results. So today, I'm going to show you the top 3 models out of 27 video generators I tested, comparing them side by side to find out which one is actually the best. Now, all of these AI models that can generate videos in 4K are inside OpenArt, which is the platform I'm going to be using today. So if you want to follow along with this tutorial, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. And once you're inside, this is what the homepage looks like. To get access to all the 4K models, let's head to the video section and click text to video. Here is where we'll be testing them across 3 essential methods that you need for getting cinematic videos. So in the first method, we will test how well each one handles a simple text prompt into a 4K shot. First, I'm going with VO 3.1. For the settings, I'll turn the audio on so I can hear the sounds it adds on top of the video. And for the mode, you can choose between light, fast, and quality. And because we want to get the highest quality, I'm going with the last option. Now for the output, you can choose the aspect ratio, which in this case is going to be 16:9. And of course, the resolution is at 4K, because that is what this test is all about. Then set the duration to 8 seconds. Now here's the prompt I'll write inside the box. So let me click generate. So here's what VO 3.1 gives us back. Now, the first thing that stands out before we even get to the motion is just how high the quality actually is. It honestly feels like it was shot with a professional camera, because you can see all the small details on the punching bag, and even the sweat on his skin where the light is catching it from the left side. Now, the motion is also really clean, and my favorite part is the moment he smashes into the bag. The problem is the water particles look quite off. So overall, this is a really strong generation for Google VO. Now let's see what the LTX 2.3 model does with the same exact setup. So I'll head back to the model picker and swap to LTX 2.3 while also keeping everything else the same. So let's press generate and see the video. Well, what I noticed first on this generation is how defined the muscles look on the boxer, and the lighting on him also lands really solidly. But what I like the most is that it starts with high intensity and then drops into slow motion, which makes the whole shot feel way more dramatic. The only thing that feels a bit off is the water particles again. But besides that, it's a really decent generation. And now we have Kling 3.0 with the same exact setup. So the first thing Kling does differently is it uses multiple camera shots instead of staying on one angle the whole time. First, we see him punching the bag, and then it cuts to a close-up where you can actually make out small details like the sweat flying off the bag. And the boxer himself comes out super realistic, so it definitely nailed that part. And also, the quality is really high, and the lighting feels really natural on top of that, which makes the whole thing look convincing. So from a text-only prompt, all 3 models held up pretty well. But with no inputs to anchor them, the model is guessing the entire scene from scratch. So that's why for the next test, we'll be testing them out the way most people will actually use them. And that's with a starting frame, for example, something like this. It is an image of myself boxing that I generated a few minutes ago. So I'm going to take it and use it as input for all the next generations, which will make sure they have a clear idea of what I want to include. So let's go back to OpenArt inside the video section. And from the top, I'll switch to start and end frame. This is what allows me to add a starting frame for our video. And you can also add one end frame, but that's something for another day. Now I'll choose the AI model to be VO 3.1. I'll press on add a start frame and upload the image of me boxing. Then, before actually pasting the prompt, I'll adjust the settings just like they were previously. So the audio is on, the mode is on quality, the output is 16:9. It has a resolution set to 4K and a duration of 8 seconds. Now I can paste in this prompt and let's hit generate. And here's what it gives us back. The first thing I want to say is that it respected our starting frame, while also keeping the quality really high. Now, just like we've seen previously, the motion is really clean, and I like how he throws those punches. But I do want to point out how unrealistic the water particles look. So now, let me test the same generation using LTX 2.3. So for this one, I'll use the same starting frame with the same prompt. For the mode, I'll go with quality again, and for the output, I'll choose landscape at 4K and 8 seconds for the duration. So here's what I got. What stands out on this one is that even though we still get almost the same length, it gives us only one punch into the back with a really long slow motion moment, which makes the whole thing feel a bit less dynamic than I would have wanted. So you'll be really surprised when you see the 4K video coming out of the secret method I'm about to show you in a minute. But for now, let's see what our third AI model can do. So I'll run the same thing through Kling 3.0, then set the duration to 8 seconds here and hit generate. Here, we get two different camera shots inside the same generation. The first one is pretty basic and doesn't really stand out. But the second one is a moment I really like, because you can clearly see the emotion on his face. And because the quality is set to 4K, you can notice smaller details on his face, like the wrinkles and the skin imperfections that make the whole thing feel more real. But honestly, I don't usually use a starting frame inside my video generations. The thing I do instead is use multiple image references. And those are usually one for my character and one for the assets and objects inside the scene. So let's go ahead and test these two. So here's the character sheet with multiple angles of my face. And then here's the second reference image with the boxing gloves that I'm going to be using inside the video. So once I put all of these together, the AI will know exactly how each element looks, and it will make sure they stay consistent throughout the entire video. I would be really happy to test this with all our video generators. However, LTX 2.3 and Kling 3.0 don't have this feature, which is in my opinion one really big downside. So the only model left is VO 3.1, so I'm going to show you how it works with this feature. So let's select the model as we did previously, and when it says add visual references, we'll press on images and upload the character sheet along with the boxing glove image. And for the prompt, I'll paste in this. But before I can press generate, I'll update the settings just like we had them before. Now that that's done, let's see the result. The first thing I notice is how well it combined both references into one cohesive scene. My face matches the character sheet really closely, and you can hardly tell if there's any difference between the AI version and what I gave it. The boxing gloves on his hands also match the reference perfectly, and they even kept the text intact on them. Overall, this is the strongest result so far from any of these three models. In my opinion, Google VO came out on top, but the truth is that even though its quality is high, the motion and the overall details still aren't on the level of what you can get from other models out there. So let me show you a smarter workflow that I use 90% of the time. You see, there's one AI model inside OpenArt that doesn't even have the 4K resolution by default. But with just one simple trick, we can do that while also getting the best cinematic scenes and keeping the price low. And that model is Seedance 2.0. So let me first show you the result it can give us and then how to take it to 4K, even though that's not a default setting inside. So from the video section inside OpenArt, I'll choose Seedance 2.0 as the model. And I'll add the same exact reference images as we did previously with VO. For this one, I'll also place the starting frame. For the visual references, I'll upload the character sheet and the boxing gloves. For the moment, I'll leave the audio on. For the mode, I'll go with normal because this is going to take a bit longer, but it also creates a better quality video. And for the resolution, I'll go with 720p. Now, I know this is far from 4K, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'll set the duration to 8 seconds, and after I paste in this prompt, I'll press on generate. And here's what it created for us. I have no words for this one. This one does not even compare with what we just saw from the 4K models. First off, it looks like a commercial you'd actually see from a brand like Nike. And on top of that, the motion is really clean and makes complete sense. So overall, this is by far the best result we've made in this entire video. But here comes the trick. The video is now at 720p and it took us a fraction of the price to generate it. So in order to bring it to 4K, we are going to use an upscale feature that OpenArt has. For this, I'm going to the homepage, and under the video section, you'll see the feature Upscale Video. So let's click on that. Here on the top, I'll upload the video we just created using Seedance, and for the resolution, I'll go with 4K. You can even upscale the frames up to 120, but I think I'll leave it like that for now. And as you can see, for just 150 credits, we can upscale it to 4K. And just to give you an idea, it cost us 1,600 credits to create a 4K video using VO 3.1. So this really is a fraction of the price. So let's go ahead and run it and take a look at the final result. As you can see, This looks amazing. So if you want to use this secret workflow or any other of the 3 previous models to get 4K videos, go sign up to OpenArt using the link in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.